going on, Jeromes? Beautiful Sunday, birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings Q&A session. So, going to be at an undisclosed location throughout the bulk of this week. So there's going to be a lot of Q&A videos coming right at you. And thank you everyone who submitted questions on the community tab. Periodically ask for questions for Q&A videos. You guys are the best. First up, Traveler. OG Jerome. Did the NFL catch up to Flores' defense last year, hence the rough end to the season? I wouldn't say necessarily caught up. I think that Flores, they had so many injuries towards the end. I think the Murphy injury really set things back in the secondary. And, Murphy doesn't get enough credit for being that dude because basically he was playing out of position, right? So he's best suited for the slot, and that's where Flores sees him this year. And, last year with injuries and guys just not stepping up, Murph had to play a lot of outside corner. And he's fine at it, but that's not his bag, right? And I feel like at a certain point, just the injuries and attrition did catch up to the Vikings because the defense wasn't necessarily that deep last year. But I do think that basically the breaking point was T. Higgins in the Bengals game, where it was just no. But I think what it was is that Flores probably massively overachieved with that unit, which he deserves a ton of credit. And they were doing a lot of creative things, almost out of necessity. But now, with a better talent infusion and some actual depth on defense, I think that now he can get back to more conventional things. And you see that he wants to play a lot more press man as opposed to playing a lot of zone last year. They're probably even going to dial back the blitzing, because they can generate a pass rush with 4, which last year they were very inefficient at. So, I think that they're going to be good to go. Next, Josh 86. I'm trying to figure out this offense with Sling and Sam Darnold. I don't foresee passing as much as we did with Kirk Cousins, unless score dictates that. But realistically, what can we expect with the Darnold-led O? I think that there will be a better dedication to the run game. But O'Connell can't help himself. This team is going to sling it, right? And the whole thing about Darnold, he's got a good arm. He's underrated when it comes to mobility. He's got good size. He can stay in the pocket. He can take a shot. And the problem with Darnold is that he sometimes gives it to the other team. There's a little bit of Nick Mullins in his game, but I don't see the Vikings just being timid and check down. Plus the defenses. Even with Jefferson and Addison, Hockenson, they're going to try and stop the run as much as they can. And Aaron Jones is very good at running against loaded boxes. So I think that there's definitely going to be more balance than previous years. But also, I think that you're going to see a lot of really fun, play action, grip it and rip it shots downfield. So I think that this is going to be less a volume passing offense as it will be a running play action outside zone, but taking shots off a play action type offense. Whether it's Darnold or McCarthy, I think that this is going to be the template either way. Next, Kyle Engstrom, Skull from Erie, Pennsylvania. When I was a kid, I think there was a TV show called Erie, Pennsylvania, where it was like paranormal stuff. Yeah. I hope the Vikings play much better at home this year because last year was embarrassing. 2-6 at home last year, inexcusable. They were 0-3 in division at home, inexcusable. And also the 2 wins were against the Saints and the Niners, which is funny. Who was the one first round pick you thought was a surefire stud and ultimately failed? Mine was Treadwell. So Treadwell, you thought that his skill set would translate. Treadwell was supposed to be A.J. Brown before A.J. Brown. And yes, ironically, A.J. Brown went to Ole Miss and wore number 1, but it just wasn't meant to be. All right. And I do think that Treadwell's tibia fibula horrific injury, a year before he was drafted, that did play into it, where I think that stole some of his confidence and mojo and definitely altered his career. Right. And it's the same thing with Lewis Seen, where sometimes these massive injuries, the guy will be back on the field, except they don't have the same mentality. Right. But for me, it's Matt Khalil. You had the Vikings had the number 3 pick in 2012. People forget that. And it was Andrew Luck at 1. It was RG3 at 2. Vikings were at 3, and then they swapped 3 and 4 with the Browns, so the Browns could take Trent Richardson. Good. But I mean, Matt Khalil was supposed to be just the rock solid franchise left tackle. Like Matt Khalil was supposed to still be playing. Remember, 2012 was the year the Vikings got Khalil, and then Spielman traded into the back end of the first round for Harrison Smith. But Khalil was supposed to be just the set it and forget it franchise left tackle, Anthony Munoz, Tony Baselli, but healthy type guy coming out of USC, but just didn't work out. And I kind of feel for Matt Khalil because Matt Khalil, I mean, he's a good dude. He's involved with a lot of cool businesses and ventures, which is great. But Khalil, I feel like he never loved the game. And I don't say that as just trying to rag on the guy. I just think it's true. I just think that he was born 6'6", 310 with long arms, and his father loved the game, obviously. Big brother, Ryan, loved the game, obviously, and he would just sort of shoehorn into it. But I don't think that his heart was actually in the game. I just really don't. I think that there's more players than you think that don't love the game. They just do it because that's the God-given ability that they were given. Like they were, born 6'4", with 6'4", run a 4.8 40 and are 310 pounds, and can blow up a B gap. But do they love it? Probably not. But they love what comes with the game. And it's just a job for them. It's not a calling or a passion. And that's not a negative. That just is what it is. Next. T-Rag. What is the most accurate NFL player comp for Dallas Turner? Also, Mekhi Blackman feels like a potential breakout candidate for me this year. Agree. With Blackman, yes. And I think the pride of USC is really going to get things done on the edge. I think that he will ultimately beat out Caleb Evans at that right cornerback spot. So I think that it'll be Shaq and Blackman on the outside and Murph in the slot. But for Turner, it's tough to say. I mean, Travon Walker, but with skill, certainly is there. But, I mean, the Brian Burns comp is the easiest one because you have a guy who comes in, shortish, lightish, but Brian Burns also had short arms. So, but Turner's got freakishly long arms and a wingspan. So, but they are similarly from the speed rushing cloth. And Brian Burns, I think, is one of the most underrated edge rushers in the game. And he has been for a number of years. I loved him coming out of Florida State. Oh, there's talk that he was at like 220 when he was playing at Florida State, which is insane. But I'm so fired up about Turner. I think that he has an opportunity to become one of the best young edge rushers in the game very, very quickly. Yeah, just speed kills. Let's go, man. Next. Approximately how long until the Vikings update their uniform? So when an NFL team changes their primary uniforms, they have to have them for at least 5 years. Now, the Vikings, they changed their primary uniform back in 2013 because I always remember it because Harrison wore the old uniforms for 1 year, his rookie year 2012. Cordero, rookie in 2013, never did. All right, so that's how I always remember it. And 2013 is when the Vikings, they went with the the two stripes on the sides, the matte helmet, with the the skull font or whatever's going on there. That's basically when they switched it over, right? And it's the Vikings have had that now for going on 11 seasons, but I don't know. I feel like a tweak is coming down the pipeline. I feel like with the alternate uniforms, the Bud throwback as well as with the Winter Warrior ones, I think the Vikings are, they're experimenting with something a little bit different. Now, I wouldn't mind like a sort of a modern throwback, but I don't know. I'm open to a lot of ideas, and that's sort of been the thing with the Vikings. Like they haven't really changed their uniform drastically, since 1961. But open to ideas. It's always fun to try new things, right? Lastly, Keo Cat, what fun things are you doing on your birthday? Or did you get for your birthday? So I'm at the age now. So men are just like difficult to buy presents for to begin with, unless it's just like booze or cigars or golfing stuff. I don't really golf though, but I don't know, like, So the wife made lemon bars, which is fantastic. That's not code, by the way. She actually made lemon bars, right? And the rest of it, like, so, my birthday being so close to Father's Day, there's a lot of overlap. Like, last week got a lot of the Father's Day gifts, but there are also birthday gifts, and that's fine. Like, I'm a male adult. Like, I don't need things. And also, what makes dads difficult to shop for is that if I need something, I just buy it, right? So otherwise, I get like Hawaiian shirts which I love and adore as well. I should get more hats. That's all. But either way, smoking a pork butt today. Again, not code. Just realized, like, so we've been gone quite a bit and just like sort of on the go, a lot of kids' activities, but just haven't just like sat down and just like smoked any meat. So again, not code. So doing that today, making some pulled pork. Like the pulled pork recipe I got. Spicy, tangy, vinegary. That's what we go with. So yeah, birthday, another year around the sun. Other than that, it's not really any sports. Well, can't really watch Royce Lewis anymore. So probably just chilling. No, having a good cigar. And that's about it. So there you go. But that's it. Vikings Q&A. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull, production value.